All right, good evening, my fellow degenerates. It is Unhappy Wednesday, coming to you live from our humble abode. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. Thank you for joining us tonight from wherever you may be in, whatever service you're using to tune in. Sorry for a lot of you. I tagged a couple of another whole group of people late with the first post I put out was just the YouTube link, and I forgot to put up the Facebook one for some folks that don't use YouTube, even though I do encourage it. It's the better way to go. But anyways, so we thank you from wherever you're choosing to tune in. So as always, pull up a chair, turn up the volume, turn it up in your car, fart around on the company dime, and we'll try to entertain you for the next hour and change, give or take, right? Put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation, and we'll look forward to tomorrow, Friday Eve. Before we get to all the fun stuff, I'm going to keep doing this every week, guys. Whether you're in the Philadelphia area, Connecticut, Tennessee, where I've got friends, wherever you're listening, if you know people in this area where I am now, Cincinnati, Ohio area, please share what I am saying. You see the barrage of posts every single day. I'm putting out stuff trying to get all of our Birds fans in the Cincinnati area to come to the Back Porch Saloon on game days. That's the goal. My friend Mike, who is the general manager there, he is also pushing. We're both pretty active social media-wise, trying to find ways to attract more attention. I'm going to use this platform to do the same, and in the hopes that we can increase our numbers and eventually kick all the Bengals fans out. Excuse me, that's going to take some doing. So, like I said, you're going to keep hearing it every week. We were up to about 8 to 10. Now it's about getting to 15, then 20, 30, and so on from there. So we'll keep pushing. We'll get there. And along with that, so last week I had talked about wanting to do this show instead of from my house, doing it at the back porch going forward. Not able to do it this week. Mike wasn't available. He's got some other stuff going on. So starting next week, we're gonna give that a shot. I'm probably gonna bring my laptop and everything up there on Sunday just to, test the connection and whatnot, and see how that goes. But that's the goal. Is next Wednesday that you'll be seeing this show, the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio. You will see that show from the Back Porch Saloon next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Sometime in November, I have to get the date. My daughter is going to have a recital for her choir, so I need to talk to Q about moving my show either the Thursday night or Friday night or Monday night or whatever for that week. But we'll keep you posted there. The big thing, like I said, to look out for is next week should be on location at the Back Porch Saloon unless something else comes up. And joining me on the show for at least a little while. I don't know how much time he's actually going to have next week, but for at least a little while, my friend Mike Solon, he is the GM at the Back Porch Saloon. He will join us as well. So it should be a good time. He is like a lot of you. He is Philly through and through, whereas I'm kind of a mixed bag. He is Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, all the way through. So you'll enjoy that. Good dude. My brother from another out here. And like I said, we are trying to build this bird gang out here in Cincinnati at the Back Porch Saloon. So that's the goal there. I'm going to keep pumping it full of social media. So please follow, please like, please listen, please help me spread the word. Even if you just share the post and share it public, you never know who's going to see it. So you might not know anybody out here, but somebody you know might know somebody out here. So just the posts that I put up advertising to go to meet us at the back porch on game days are all public posts. You should be able to share them as much as you want and wherever you want. So please help me out and do that. That'd be great. Moving on from that, I know you've a lot of you folks that follow the Green Legion on social media and wherever else you see Quimby's posts and posts coming from the Green Legion, which I think are also probably Quimby. Houston sold out, everybody. Okay. This weekend's tailgate also sold out. Right. So, like he said, don't show up at the gate asking for, if there's any openings. It's sold out. Houston's completely sold out as well. Apparently there's nothing left. Not even ticket or tailgate, not even tailgate only, and there will be no waiting list. Right? So, same thing with this weekend. Come to Indianapolis if you're looking for another trip. There's only a couple of trips left. There's also Chicago. Looks like the flights are still open for that. You can knock Soldier Field off your list, but keep in mind that's also going to be it's Soldier Field and it's Chicago. Chicago's awesome. You just stay out of the South Side and you should be all right. But Chicago's awesome. But Michelle and I, we're going to head to Indianapolis in, I think it's 3.5 weeks or whatever it is now, 3 weeks. And we'll be there for 2 nights. We'll get there Saturday during the day sometime. We'll be there through Sunday, and we'll come back here Monday. Coming with us out there will be Mike Solon and his fiance, Mike from the back porch, his fiance. They will be there as well. They're doing, I think it's just tailgate only with the Legion. Mike has a lot of distributors and stuff that supply the back porch with the beer and the alcohol, whatever. I think he's gotten tickets through them. Another gentleman, John Brooks, who hangs out with us on game days up here. He will be coming with his girlfriend. I think he's doing ticket and tailgate. They're not driving up until Sunday morning, though, so that's going to be a little wild for them. It's less than a 2-hour drive from here, but for me, I'd rather roll out of bed, take a shower, and be able to just kind of walk over. I don't want to have to drive, an hour and a half, 2 hours straight to a tailgate and then hit it hard all day and everything. So trying to talk him into booking a room out there too. But ultimately, y'all do what you need to do. But so that's at least a few of the cast of characters here from the back porch crew. We are going to, hopefully our numbers, our head count will continue increasing week to week. And I will keep pushing for that Indianapolis trip, whether it's, book the hotel and everything, or just ticket and tailgate, or just tailgate something, just to, let's get some more folks out there. Should be a good time. Like I said, there's always, there's always Chicago if you're looking to book a trip, and then the home tailgates too. They're awesome as well. What I'm telling you guys is, if you have interest in anything that's left open for the Green Legion, please book it soon. You don't want to be sitting there hemming and hawing over it, wanting to go, even if it's a home tailgate, and then all of a sudden you go to pull the trigger and you waited too long. Jump on it, get in there, get your spot. You don't want to miss it. It's always a great time. So that's what we've got to say there. As Forrest Gump would say, that's all I've got to say about that. All right. Let's jump over and say hi to everybody here. Fito, my brother, how you doing? He is, what do we got here? Just getting out of work, and I'm getting dragged into Gippers for a few cold ones. I'll be watching at the bar waiting on an epic rant. Now, it's going to be a little bit. We're going to cover some positive stuff first, but I'm glad to have you with us as always, my brother. And Desi, Desi, this kind of post makes me not want to compliment your breakfast anymore. The 6-in-1 big, get out of here. Still the best breakfast this side of the Mississippi River. And no, none of you can have any. Keenan Harmon, the plane just landed at George W. Bush Airport. Houston, you about to have a problem. Damn right. Maria, how you doing? Feels like the Eagles haven't played in weeks, but preoccupied with Phillies. Sorry, Yankee fans. Oh, Maria, please do not feel sorry for us as Yankee fans. You could have been being sarcastic, and that's okay too. I hope you were, actually. Do not feel sorry for us, and you're going to find out why real soon. Keenan, one more time. Meet me at Xfinity this Sunday, and we going over the fence. Beware of head security, though. Her name is Sam, and she kicks ass. Yeah, I wouldn't attempt that one. Not with Sam out there. All right. Now that we've gotten through some of the business end of stuff, I hope everybody's had a great week. I know all of you Phillies fans have had a fantastic week. And what a week you've got coming up. So starting Friday, you got Phillies at Astros game 1. Saturday, Phillies at Astros game 2. Sunday, Birds home against the Steelers. Monday, Astros at Phillies. Tuesday, Astros at Phillies. Wednesday, Astros at Phillies. Thursday, Birds at Houston. Friday, Phillies at Astros. Saturday, Phillies at Astros. And then Sunday, well, no, Sunday we're off, right? Because we play the Monday night game after the Thursday. So, I mean, what a week and a half coming, what a week and change coming up here for the Philadelphia area. I couldn't be happier for you. I was thrilled to pieces to see you guys beat the Padres. I thought that was going to be a classic series, kind of a back and forth, 6, maybe 7 games. And it didn't turn out that way, right? It was 5 games, but I feel like every game was competitive. It's not like anybody blew anybody's doors in. I know the 10-6 score in that one game looks that way for the Phillies, but keep in mind that was very much a seesaw for a little while until Philly pulled away at the end. Overall, man, the Phils are red hot. I do worry a bit about the time off. I think any good ball player in any sport would tell you when they're going well, you don't really want the rest, right? You just want to keep going. You just want to keep playing games. You just want to stay hot. And, it's going to be up to Philly Rob to keep them focused and keep them motivated. You got a good veteran presence in that locker room too, which will help with Schwarber, with Harper. Castellanos has been around a while. So I think they'll be all right. I can tell you that the time off is not likely to affect the Astros. Okay. They've been there, done that. This is a 106-win team. May very well be the most complete team in all of baseball when you factor in, timely hitting for average, power in the lineup, starting rotation, bullpen. They are a handful. So, look, I'm all in on the Phils, okay? Ashley, I see you over there. How you doing, 305? Astros or Phillies? Honestly, where's your money at? I'm not going to do that. I'm solely focused on my rooting interest. You guys know I hate the Astros, and you know why. And we're going to cover some of that in a few. But I wanted to do the Phillies first because I'm really happy for all of you. Being an Eagles fan, I have lots of friends who are Phillies fans. Lots of you are my friends that are Phillies fans. I also have a lot of friends that are they just hate the Astros. So I posted a meme earlier today that showed a map of America, and it was, the rooting interest for the entire country. And it was all red for Phillies, including Alaska and Hawaii, except for the state of Texas, where it was blue. I can tell you, though, I think the Dallas area is not all in on Houston either. I think you might be able to carve out just that Houston area and turn that to blue for Houston, and the rest of it should all be red for the Phillies. I mean, now that the Yankees are out of it, who's the next team up to hate? Well, it's got to be Houston. There was actually a picture I posted when the ALCS was about to start, I think, or maybe it was after game 1, where it said, the way the fans of the other 28 teams in baseball see the ALCS, and it was, instead of Yankees and Astros, it was Hitler versus Stalin. So, but yeah, and I get it. But again, we'll get into that in a few. Look, congrats. I can't say it anymore. I can't say it any happier for you. Congratulations to the Phillies. What a great series. Again, I'll go back to Michael Scott, I think it was, had asked me back in, I think it was August, right around the time Harper was coming back, somewhere around there, who I thought could be a dark horse to make a run in the playoffs. My pick was the Phillies. And no, it wasn't just pandering to all of you. I did get accused of that a little bit, and I can see why, but it really wasn't. I liked the makeup of the team. I liked the way they rallied around the manager. I like the kids mixed with the veterans. I just liked that team, and I really felt like if they clicked and started firing on all cylinders and played to their potential, that they were fully capable of making a run. Now you get a little help, right? San Diego takes out the Mets, they take out the Dodgers, but at the same time, you helped yourselves. You take out the 93-win Cardinals, who were red hot coming into October. And then you took out the 101-win defending world champion Braves, who were red hot the entire second half of the season. So the Phillies are there and they have earned it. I think it's awesome. Part of me, even though it stinks that the Yankees didn't get in, to have the number 1 seed in the American League versus the number 6 seed in the National League. You really have the favorite versus the underdog, right? I mean, it's that classic matchup, and you all know who I'm rooting for. Unless it's the Yankees, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear about the favorite. I'm always rooting for the underdog unless it's against my team. So, but you want to take a look at some of the stuff from the series. I think that Game 5, San Diego, obviously, there's always a number of reasons why you lose games or why you lose series or whatever. I've always said a lot of people blame refs and umpires and stuff, and I think that's a lot of weak sauce. I really do. I think if you leave yourself in position for the refs to kind of, determine the outcome of a game with a call or two, then shame on you. I'm not excusing referees or umpires making bad calls. What I'm saying is take care of your own business before you start calling somebody else out. The two big ones to me, late in the game, San Diego in Game 5. I'm probably not pitching to Harper in that spot. I get it. There's already a runner on. I totally understand the situation with the score and whatnot. But I'm not letting the Phillies' best player beat me in that spot. I am going to make Nick Castellanos beats me. And if he beats me, I'll tip my cap to him. But pitching to Harper in that spot, Harper's red hot, right? The NLCS MVP and well-deserved. 400 batting average, 2 homers, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs, 4 runs scored. 3 of the 5 RBIs ended up being game winners, right? In that series, right? So, well, actually, I think it's 4 of the, but 3 of the hits were game-winning hits. Yeah, he had the solo homer. It was Game 1. That ends up being the go-ahead. His second double in Christ, I forget. Game 3, I think it was. Ends up being the go-ahead. And, of course, that freaking 2-run homer. I mean, you almost could have telegraphed it. That at-bat had gone on too long. Dude kept trying to buzz him with that outside fastball, and Harper wasn't having it. Foul it off, take it if it's too far off the plate. And finally, he got too much of the plate, and Harper just timed it and smashed it for the 2-run homer. What a moment in Philly. Holy shit. I mean, that was just bananas. But so, like, if I'm San Diego, I'm probably not pitching to him in that spot. I'm gonna pick my poison, and I'm gonna walk Harper, and I'm gonna pitch to Castellanos. And if Nick beats me, then Nick beats me. Or if I end up walking him and screwing it up, then so be it. But I'm not letting Harper beat me. But hey, benefit to the Phils, right? The other thing is, what the hell was that bunt in the 9th inning? I can't possibly think that came from the dugout. That had to be what's his face laying down the bunt. I didn't understand that at all. There's already one out. Like, whatever. You got that little confidence in yourself? All right, well, So, I mean, you talk about a couple of big call-outs in that. I thought those were 2 huge moments in that game that could have gone differently. But, hey, it didn't. Phillies win. Phillies move on. We talked about Harper, the NLCS MVP. They're calling a lot of posts I see calling him the showman. My friend Michael Solon here calls him Bryce fucking Harper. And the fucking is spelled with a PH. Yeah, the Game 1 solo homer off of Darvish. His second RBI double in Game 4 gave you guys the lead for good, and of course the 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th in Game 5. Interesting stat on Harper here. He is the 6th player to hit a go-ahead homer with his team trailing in the 8th or later of a clinching game. The last guy to do it this deep, at least this deep into the playoffs, it happened 29 years prior to the day that Harper hit it, and it was Joe Carter that hit that walk-off homer off of Mitch in the World Series. I know that's a sore subject, but I found that incredibly interesting. It's just odd how baseball comes full circle like that. So awesome. That's Ranger Suarez. Here's another cool stat, right? I think I sent this one to Sack for his is can you believe it? Ranger Suarez gets the save after Robert Suarez of the Padres blew the save for San Diego in the bottom of the previous inning. That's the first time since saves became an official stat in 1969 that two pitchers with the same last name and first initial had the save and blown save in the same game. Yikes. That's a mouthful, but I thought those two. So the Harper thing with the homer to the day of Joe Carter, and then the Ranger Suarez save after the Robert Suarez blown save, just thought it was really cool. I just figured I'd throw that out there. Again, always plenty of reasons why series are won and lost. But, look, the Astros won 106 games. They're in the World Series because they're a damn good team. It hurts my soul to say that, but it's the truth. They're just a damn good team. And a lot of people, I started reading a lot of articles. Oh, it's, and Maria right here. It's David versus Goliath series for sure. Yeah, it is. But I think a lot of people are taking Goliath and just assuming. There are a lot of articles out there just, how the articles I'm reading are more how are the Phillies going to beat the Astros. I'm not seeing a whole lot of how are the Astros going to beat the Phillies. And I think that's a mistake because as great as Harper has been, and for, I think he's 416 in the playoffs overall for his batting average, 400 in the NLCS. As great as he has been, as great as he was the NLCS, it was not just him. Okay? Schwarber had a big series. 400, 3 homers, 4 RBIs, 6 walks. Hoskins, just a 222 batting average. 4 homers, 7 RBIs. The pitching has been amazing. In particular, y'all know Wheels has been unbelievable, right? 2 starts, 13 innings, 1-0 record. This is the NLCS. 1.38 ERA, 4 hits in 13 innings. Just the 2 runs allowed, only 1 walk in those 13 innings to go along with 16 strikeouts. I mean, he has been every bit what you want as an ace. No doubt about it. And I think it should be a lot of fun to watch Friday night when he locks horns with Justin Verlander. That should be spectacular. If you want my personal opinion, I am looking forward to it. Of course, you know who I'm rooting for, and I'll say it over and over and over again. I hate the Astros, and don't worry, y'all. It's coming. Also, the pitching, Ranger Suarez, only 5 2/3 innings, right? But he got a win and a save and pitched to a 1.59 ERA. Look, you can stop, if you stop Harper, then you're pitching to somebody else. And you're going to have to score your own runs against that pitching staff. Now, the team pitching numbers, 3.68 ERA overall for the NLCS. Not all, it doesn't knock your socks off, but Nola, Falter, and Hand all got rocked, right? It's a problem if Nola can't get straight because he's got a pitch game too. But those 3 got rocked. If you look at the overall, they held San Diego to a 202 batting average, only 9 walks, and struck them out 49 times in the 5 games. Pretty damn good, right? You're basically talking about a 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for the series. So you go in with that kind of pitching into this series with Houston, you're going to be okay. If pitching goes like that against the Stros, you're going to be in position to win ball games, and then it's on Harper, it's on Hoskins, it's on Schwartz to deliver. I'd like to see more out of Castellanos. I'd really like to see at least a little bit more. Kind of complete the middle of that lineup there. He's right behind. He's right behind Harper in the order, and he's very inconsistent. But anyways, talked about some fun stuff there with the Phillies. with the, Suarez and Suarez with the saves, Harper with the homer, Harper's prowess in the NLCS overall as the NLCS MVP and well deserved. And again, once again, congrats to your fighting Phils. Absolutely incredible. I want to hop over to the room for just a minute. Not a whole lot going on over here. Lou Mancini's in the room. No more booster shots for me. Got the last one yesterday. Been sick all day. Yeah, I feel this. I'm not. I did what I needed to do with all that crap. I'm not doing it anymore. I know when I got the second shot and the booster, I had the same effects. The first one, they were just the same effects, but not quite as bad. The second ones, it wasn't bad. Just like my arm was really, really sore, and I was like in a fog, just walking around, and I lay down and go to sleep. And by the time I woke up the following morning, I was fine. Lou, how about yeah, we'll get to the birds in a little bit, but we've got one more baseball thing to take care of here. I just wanted to hop over here and make sure I wasn't missing anybody or neglecting anything. And Lou, yeah, feel better, buddy. Vito, I can't text for shit today. Okay. The elephant in the room. I said it 100 times already tonight that I'm rooting for the Phillies. You all know why. Let's cross over to the embarrassment that was the ALCS. All right. And this is where I warned in the teaser for the show tonight. This is not going to be your family programming. Now, I will try to keep it together so it's not a completely profanity-laced thing here, but I don't have a whole lot of notes on this, just a few. This is really going to come a lot from the heart. So we'll get to the notes first, and then I'll tell you how I really feel. So, the embarrassment that was the American League Championship Series. Swept. And without a pulse, really, until Game 4 when it was too late. Got outscored 18-9 in the sweep, so 18 runs over 4 games given up by the pitching staff. Not that bad. 9 runs scored by the offense. Atrocious. The Yankee team batting average, a robust 162 with a whopping 21 hits over the 4 games. Only 6 of the 9 runs that were scored were earned runs. We struck out 50 times in the 4-game series. 50 times in the 4-game series. 50. I just told you a few minutes ago that the Phillies pitching staff was great because they struck out the Padres 49 times over 5 games. This vaunted pinstripe lineup struck out 50 times in 4 games. Donaldson had 10 all by himself. If that guy's back on the team next year, we got fuck it. We've got a ton of issues as it is. It gets worse. I just said about the batting average. 162. The OPS, which for those of you that aren't hip to baseball stats, it's on base plus slugging. This is a great way to tell exactly how well you're performing at the plate. I still think batting average has to hold a lot of weight. I'm being called a grumpy old man and get off my lawn guy and blah, blah, blah. The whole world revolves around OPS. I think OPS definitely plays a strong role, but I also include batting average. Anyways, 162 batting average, fucking 502 OPS. That is your on-base percentage plus your slugging percentage. 502. There are pitchers who've had higher OPS. 21 hits. But break it down even further. 2 guys performed well. 2 guys get a pass in that lineup. Harrison Bader, who documented that I did not want to trade Jordan Montgomery for him. I had no problem trading for Bader. I did not want to give up pitching to get him. Doesn't matter. The guy plays a rock-solid center field. He's probably the best defensive center fielder in the game. And good Lord, did his bat come to life in the playoffs. And thank God. Or without him and Rizzo, we'd gotten shut out. Harrison Bader bats .400 for the series with a 1271 OPS and with 2 home runs, 6 hits total. Anthony Rizzo, 250 batting average. All right, not as good. 1 homer, 1021 OPS, 3 hits. Of the 21 hits that this pathetic, stinking-ass lineup managed to scrounge together, 9 of them came from Bader and Rizzo. The rest of it's just spread out amongst the rest of the assholes. Josh Donaldson strikes out 10 times. We struck out 50 times as a team over 4 games. This piece of shit had 20% of it all by himself. Disgusting. Have you watched the Josh Donaldson at bat? I don't think I've seen a worse approach as a hitter than this guy. He drops his arm. I mean, the minute the pitch is thrown, his back leg drops. His arm is turned, his shoulders coming down. His elbows drop. I just want to throw shit at my television. I can't stand to see him. And then on top of everything else, the guy's flipping the bat like he hit a home run. If the fucking ball goes off the way you get held to a goddamn single or you're thrown out. Or you're flipping the bat like some badass when you draw a walk. How about you draw a few more instead of striking out 10 times over a 4-game series, you bum? Aaron Judge. What a fantastic season. He's likely still going to win the American League MVP award, but I can tell you he wouldn't if the playoffs were factored in. It would go to Ohtani at this point. He was non-existent. Don't get me wrong, great plays in the outfield. Yeah, he's a great athlete. He's a 5-tool ball player. And you almost want to give Aaron Judge a pass because of the monster season he just had. But then the fans are booing him. And now I'm reading things where there's these fans, how could you possibly boo Aaron Judge? Or these players that are saying, oh, I didn't believe it would be that hostile. Hey, candy ass, you knew the friggin' score when you signed in New York. When you signed with that team wearing that uniform, you know the score. This fan base booed Babe Ruth. They booed Mickey Mantle. They were calling Mickey Mantle a draft dodger. They've booed Don Mattingly. They've booed Derek Jeter. None of you are special. None of you. None of you are exempt from boos. All that is passionate fans. But no, everybody wants to call us stupid for booing them. All right, fine. You know what? Call us stupid. I don't think it was going to matter. I never believed Aaron Judge was coming back to New York. I believe he is going to sign in San Francisco. I've said that from about the middle of the year before all the home run hoopla and all this and the bullshit where the Yankees were on this friggin' history. Once we didn't get him signed before the season started, and the guy bet on himself, I never thought he was coming back. He's from California. He's a really laid-back kid. I think he wants to go home. And if you want egg on face, you got that whole section in Yankee Stadium called Judge's Chambers that you created when he was a rookie, by the way. Stupid ass. You don't throw everything at him. Now you're going to lose him. You want to blame it on the fans booing him? I call that weak sauce. And if any of the other ones got a problem, fuck you, get out of here. Go on, get. No tolerance for any of it. None of you are Mickey Mantle. None of you are Don Mattingly. None of you are Derek Jeter. None of you are Babe fucking Ruth. You don't want to get booed? Go play in St. Louis. You don't want to get booed? Go play in Oakland, where dozens of fans will come out to see you stink every fucking day. You want to try? You want to play in front of passionate fans? Look, you think anything's different over in Queens? You think anything's different with the Phillies? It's not. You think anything's different up in Boston? Go ahead, stink up the joint in any of those cities. Tell me how the fans react to you. Now we have Hal Steinbrenner making statements today that he doesn't see a change at the GM or manager spot. Okay. Look, I like Aaron Boone. I do. I think he's a good baseball guy. I mean, he's a third-generation ball player, which is why I don't believe that all of the decisions as far as lineup and whatnot were coming straight from him. I think it's too deeply involved. Cashman is addicted to analytics. And I'm telling you now, baseball, when you get to the highest level, the playoffs, is still, the games are still won in its most pure form. What is that? That's pitching, that's defense, that's timely hitting, passing the baton, taking your walk, laying down a bunt, hitting the ground ball to the right side to move the runner over to third, taking your sacrifice fly. Not sitting there and swinging for the fence with everybody you let. When you have a lineup that is 100% built on your stupid-ass analytics with your goddamn exit velocity and your piss-poor fucking launch angle, this is the result. You get to this level and you can't hit elite pitching because nobody's up there swinging for contact. You want to know why Bader and Rizzo hit the way they hit? Because they swung for contact. They weren't up there swinging, corkscrewing themselves in the fucking ground every time they go up. I am sick of the analytics approach. The insanity is divine. This has been going on for years. This is every single postseason for years now. Big regular season, get to October, stink. Following year, big regular season, get to October, stink. You can't construct an entire team based on analytics. I think there's a place for launch angle and exit velocity. But when your entire lineup is geared to that, you are going to fail in the playoffs. Time and time again, it happens to the Yankees every single season. Insanity. How do we define insanity, folks? By doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. They have to be insane. That's what's happening. And I blame at the top Hal Steinbrenner. Now, I don't know what kind of dirt Cashman has on the Steinbrenner family to be able to keep his job. Because, look, that guy's addicted to analytics, and we need to move away from that. And it's not going to happen as long as Cash is there. I hear a lot of people wanting Boone fired. Okay, great. Fire Boone. Who's the replacement? Come on, who's the replacement? You want to tell me Donnie Baseball? Okay. I love Donnie Baseball. Do you think Donnie Baseball is going to come be the manager there and let Hal Steinbrenner have Cashman stick his hand up Donnie's ass like a puppeteer? Because that's what's going on with Boone. You think Mattingly's going to do that? No, Mattingly's not going to do that. Something would have to change. The philosophy of this organization has to change. And if that means you got to cut bait with damn near everybody, then just do it. Hit the reset button and let's get good again. But Hal doesn't want to do that. Hal Steinbrenner, who I blame first. I blame him first. That man is invested in putting asses in seats for the 81 home games. He is not invested in winning the most important 11 or now maybe 13 games come October. That's the difference. His father wouldn't rest until you would at least see effort. It wouldn't be the same crap over and over again like we're getting from Hal. Right behind him, Cashman, with his addiction to analytics. You got to move past it. You got to have a yin and yang. You need baseball people in there too. You can coexist, but you have to figure out a way to do that because what you're doing now doesn't work. All you're going to do is keep winning between 90 and 100 games every year. Everybody, yay, we're in the playoffs. And you're going to stink in October again because the same shit is going to keep happening. You cannot build an entire freaking team on analytics. There has to be guts and baseball involved. That's what makes the freaking Astros so good. They got some analytics-driven shit in there. Of course they do. But they've also got scrappy guys. They got ball players. And the Phillies are going to have their hands full. There's no question about it. All right. I need to take a drink of water. I'm not allowed to smoke in my house, and I've been not smoking unless I'm drinking. But I can tell you, if I had cigarettes with me right now, I'd just go ahead and fire one up right here. That had to get off my chest. So if anybody's kids were listening, including my own, if they're down there, I will apologize, but I did warn you ahead of time. That was not going to be pleasant, but it had to be said. Thank you all for listening to that. No, I'm just tired of it. It's the same story year in and year out. Run out of, come out of the gate slow, get into a groove, win 90 to 100 games, win the division or make the wild card, get into October. You might win a game, you might win a series, and then you run into a team that just pitches well enough where your analytics-driven launch angle, exit velocity nonsense can't do anything against elite pitching. That's it. And until you change that, you're just going to keep letting me sit here and call you insane and letting me sit here and lose my mind. Because that's just what'll keep happening. I'll just keep losing my shit. And now we're going to go into the into the off season. And if I'm the Yankees, I've got two goals right now. You give a blank check to Aaron Judge and ask him to fill it in. And if he doesn't want to, let him leave. And 1A behind that is you go hard after Trey Turner. I mean hard. That kid is everything that we need, right? He solves the shortstop spot. He solves the leadoff spot. He solves a lot of problems. Those are your two number ones. Beyond that, maybe there's a 1C where you go out and get some arms or whatever. But this analytics-driven shit has to change. Just take a look at the Phillies and look what they've been able to accomplish, with a pretty decently balanced lineup where they're not just all driven by, when we get to the playoffs, it's a team full of guys kind of like Kyle Schwarber. They're going to bat 200 and run into a few. See, with the Phillies, it works because you have a Harper, you have a Mean Gene who can slap a few base hits. You've got a Hoskins who can get hot for a few. You've got some other kids in there that can hit. JT can hit, right? Yankees aren't built like that. The Yankees are built all like your Kyle Schwarber. And elite pitching just finishes them off every single year. And it's going to continue to happen until that philosophy changes. All right. Now we're going to hop back over and say what's up to all of you over here. Lou Mancini, he's going to need a belly rub from the White. No, I'm going to need some dinner after this. At Lou, more like a butt rat. Thanks, Fito. Appreciate it. Fito, best fucking rant ever. Hey, look, man, it was coming. I had to get it off my chest. Keenan Harmon, launch velocity changes, but exit angle stays about the same, even when you reach your 65th birthday. Speaking from experience. Keenan, he's more like hollering about this. Yeah. So we're done with baseball now. All right. We're going to move on to football. But I'm not going to buy any Phillies gear to wear. It's just, I am a Yankees fan. I'm not going to buy Philly stuff. What I will do is I will wear my Eagles and stuff every single day, in support of the Phillies. I want the Phillies to win. I hope it's a damn sweep. I look, If San Diego had gotten through it, I'd be rooting for them too. I hate the Astros. But with the Phillies there, it's twofold. I hate the Astros, but I also want that World Series for all of you, for the Phillies. So that's who I'm rooting for. That's where we're going to. Hopefully the Yankees can get their shit together during the offseason, or at least start trying to. I think Chris Sack, Lou Dominguez, and I talked about, possibly coming on to this show a couple of times during the offseason to talk some hot stove baseball, but we'll see how that goes. Without further ado, over to football we go, guys. Thank you for tolerating the baseball rant for a while. But let's get over to football now that I've got all that off of my chest. Does somebody want to fill me in on what the hell is going on in Indianapolis? Matty Ice, I think, separated shoulder. But the announcement came out Monday that the Colts are moving on for the rest of the year and have named Sam Ehlinger the starting quarterback for the rest of the year. So you know what else that does is that moves Nick Foles into the backup role. So keep in mind, in 3 weeks, we're going to be in Indianapolis, the Birds. And if Ehlinger stinks over the next few weeks and or gets hurt or whatever, not that I'm ever wishing someone to get hurt, there's a possibility we'll be up against old Big Dick Nick. So Matty Ice is out as the starter, whether he's healthy or not. Apparently, that's what the Colts came out and said on Monday. Matt Ryan was awful, so it's not like the move is really. It's not like it's unwarranted. The guy leads the NFL in interceptions thrown, leads the NFL in fumbles, and he leads the NFL in times sacked. Look, I thought the Colts got rid of Carson Wentz, but apparently they just got an older version of him. Like, holy cow, he's been terrible. But is it all him? Because he didn't look that bad at the end in Atlanta last year, even with a kind of lackluster roster there. Is some of this the coaching? Is Frank Reich just not who they think he is? It's not like they have a whole bunch of talent on the outside for him to throw to. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is one of the best running backs in football, but when you've got no wide receivers to throw to, make it a difficult time, especially for a 37-year-old quarterback. Is it the coaching? Is it him? Is it both? I guess we're going to find out over the next few weeks. Or is this kind of the Colts saying, you know what? We're going to go ahead and tank. And we're going to try to put ourselves in position for a high draft pick in next year's, in 2023 draft, where the quarterback crop is supposed to be deeper. I guess we're going to find out. Look, Ehlinger, he's 24 years old, out of University of Texas, picked in the 6th round of the 2021 draft, number 218 overall. Second team Big Ten in 2020. So that was really his, he holds the Texas record for most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in one season with 16 in 2018. Great. He also holds the Big 12 record for most consecutive pass attempts without an interception. In 2018, he went 308 pass attempts. Now, look, some of that sounds impressive, but then you got to take it in effect that, first of all, one of those stats is a rushing stat, and he's a quarterback. Second of all, this is the Big 12 he played in. Anybody watch a lot of Big 12 football? They don't play defense, okay? A lot of these kids look good, and then they come in the NFL and they stink. There's a reason why he was a 6th-round pick. Well, now he's going to be starter in Indianapolis. Should Matt Ryan demand a trade? Should he want his release? I don't know. But one way or the other, it's just looking like a pretty terrible end for a guy who's a borderline Hall of Famer. If that Super Bowl 51 goes a different direction, they don't choke to the Patriots, you might be looking at Matt Ryan a whole different way. He is set right now. He is 7th all-time in passing yards with 61,743. He's 9th all-time in passing touchdowns with 376. If he won that Super Bowl and had, that team hadn't choked after being up 28-3, you'd totally be looking at Matt Ryan as a slam dunk Hall of Famer. And now you look at him like, is he a poor man's kind of Dan Marino type of thing? Anyways, Ellinger is going to be the starter there. I guess we'll have to tune in and watch. Not that watching the Colts has been must-see TV, but I guess we'll tune in and watch, especially if Ellinger struggles and Foles has to come in and take over. Then we're all going to watch, right? Because it's Nick Foles. It's been a struggle for the Colts with quarterback play, right? Ever since Andrew Luck walked away. They brought in Phillip Rivers, and he was good, but he's still Phillip Rivers. He does more bitching than anything else. And then Rivers retires, and they go to Carson Wentz. And, that had its ups and downs last year. For a time, it looked like he might be serviceable enough to be kind of that bridge. And then you had that last game of the year where he was atrocious, and they couldn't beat the Jaguars to get in the playoffs. And a lot of that was because of Wentz's play. So they trade him off to the commodes, and they move on to Matt Ryan, and that's been a mess now too. So, one thing you should think about, and one thing what I was thinking about earlier, maybe we'll revisit this again next week. Think about the Colts and their quarterback situation, and that decision by Andrew Luck to walk away. Okay, the Colts had Peyton Manning. He had the neck injury. They had the surgery. He sat the whole year. They tanked, obviously. Manning moves on to Denver. The Colts are in line. They go right in. They grab Andrew Luck, who was what? He was the highest rated prospect since Peyton Manning. And the kid gets banged up. He gets injured a bunch, and he just didn't want to deal with it anymore. And he decides to hang him up. And since then, the Colts have been a very up and down mess. And it's because the quarterback position has not been solidified. So maybe we will revisit it again next week, but give it some thought for all of you listening. Can you think of a decision made by a player to retire or what have you that has made a bigger impact on a franchise over the long term than what we're seeing with the Colts after the Andrew Luck decision? I've been thinking about it for a day or two. I can't think of one off the top of my head. It's probably going to take some digging. All right. Before we head to the Birds and close out tonight, let's get back over here to the room. I'm sure you're all happy we've moved on to football. Fito. Run CMC in San Francisco. Yeah, for those of you who don't already know, my boy Fito there is a 49ers fan. Fito, you got to look at Run CMC as a weapon, not as a full-time running back. He is not capable of being that guy. So, okay, over to the Birds, right? Let's finish up with our undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Our undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, who just went out today and managed to land Robert Quinn. 102 sacks in his career, Robert Quinn. He's in his 12th season. He has, I think, 5 times gone double digits in sacks. 18 and a half last year. He had 19 in 2013. This man gets after the quarterback fast and furious. Going to be a great addition, to that rotation up front. It just solidifies it even more. And hopefully, with our corners and safeties, the way our secondary plays, I'd really like to see the quarterback on his ass a little more. Now, obviously, a lot of that is combated with, they're gearing up to get rid of the ball quicker. But when you've got Slay and Bradbury, who keep flipping back and forth between the two of them as to who's number 1 and who's number 2 for passer rating against, that should allow more, even with, an offense designed to get the ball out quick to avoid a sack, it should present opportunities for sacks. So Quinn should be a great addition to that. And hopefully, hopefully put some more pressure. Maybe put some more pressure on some of the defensive linemen we've got to, let's go. Let's get after it. Because if Slay and Bradbury and Gardner Johnson keep playing to where they're playing, and all of a sudden we start getting even more pressure on the quarterback, dude, I don't know what offenses are going to do with us. Like, you just won't be able to do a damn thing. In spurts, you're seeing some of that now. Look what we did to Cooper Rush. I get it, Cooper Rush, backup quarterback. I get it. But look what we did to that kid, especially in the first half. I mean, he had no room to breathe. There was no openings for him to throw the ball. He was rattled all over the place. You speed up the quarterback's internal clock, and even if after a while you're not putting him on his ass, he thinks you're going to put him on his ass. So, and he starts to panic. His feet, he gets footsteps, trying to get that ball out too quick, and that's when quarterbacks make mistakes. We're looking forward to that. But we are 6-0 coming out of the bye week. What did we talk about last week? What was the number one thing we wanted to see change? Going from the first 6 games into our 7th game of the year at home against Pittsburgh. We want to see that second half cleaned up a bit, right? The second half offense has been, we'll call it inconsistent at best. We want to see more of you really want to see them come out and put up 4 quarters the way they play the first half and just really put it on somebody. I thought that opportunity was there last week against Dallas, especially when we broke out to the 20-0 lead. Dallas's defense is good, though. But again, that second half was just yikes. It was a little tough to watch at times and very nerve-wracking in the third quarter. Coming at home against a Pittsburgh team that is not very good. They're just not. And I'm not trying to knock Mike Tomlin here. He's a great coach. But that Pittsburgh team is not a good football team. He is going to end up with his first losing record as a head coach. And we're going to help that cause this week. Look, you guys know I've said it every single week, and I'm going to say it again now. We are the more talented team, like significantly more talented, pretty much across the board. And when you're the more talented team, what? I expect you to win the game, right? When you're the more talented team, the onus goes on to the coaches. Now, look, the players have to execute, no doubt about it. But the coaches have to design, scheme, plan to put the more talented players into positions to be successful, create space, all of that sort of thing. And the players have to go out and execute. But again, we're better than Pittsburgh, significantly. The last 6 times we've played Pittsburgh since 2000, we've gone back and forth, win-lose against them, and the home team is 5-1 in those games. So it's really, this series. Now, don't forget, a lot of those are with Big Ben, right? He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. That guy's not there anymore. Now you got this prick from Pittsburgh with tiny hands. So the last matchup was in 2020. Steelers won 38-29. Okay, well, remember, this is also the coronavirus season where the Steelers started 11-0. For those of you that were with us with the Green Legion in Punta Cana December that year, we sat there on that Sunday night or Monday night and watched the Steelers lose their first game of the year to the Commodes. They then lost 4 of their last 5 and then got slaughtered by the Cleveland Baker Mayfields in the first round of the playoffs. Obviously, Pittsburgh's dealt with a lot of change since then. No doubt that we have too. You go from Peterson Wentz era to Sirianni and Hurts. Massive roster turnover on both sides. To go through all of the changes, we'd be here all night. And, we're obviously not going to do that. So, again, more talented. Look at it position by position. Look at it position by position and tell me where the Steelers have any advantage. TJ Watt, is he even going to play? If he does play, is he going to be in the whole game? If you just go position by position, or just take position group by position group, quarterback, we're better. Offensive line, we're better. Running backs, we're better. Wide receivers, we're better. Tight ends, we're better. Defensive line, as a unit, we're better. Linebackers, we're better. Secondary, forget it. It ain't even a fucking contest. Like, we're just better across the board. And it shows when you look at the numbers. The Steelers are 2-5. We're 6-0. The Steelers gain their yards per game. They are 30th in the NFL. Coming out of, going into the bye, we were third. Steelers points per game scored, 31st in the NFL. Points per game scored for us, again, as of the last time we played, 4th in the NFL. Steelers yards per game allowed, 28th. Us, 4th. Steelers points per game allowed, 22nd in the NFL. Us, 6th. Takeaways. Now, turnover ratio, we coming out of our bye, we were first in the NFL, and we're still first in the NFL, but I think we're tied with Baltimore now, something like that. The Steelers are currently 23rd. Now, that's not because the Steelers don't force turnovers, okay? That's because they've turned it over a lot. So they've taken the ball away 10 times, 8 interceptions, 2 fumbles. We've taken the ball away 14 times, 9 interceptions, 5 fumbles. The problem for them is that we've only turned it over twice, 2 interceptions. And they've turned it over 12 times. So they are -2 on your turnover ratio, while we are +12 on the turnover ratio. They've turned it over 12 times, 19 interceptions, and 3 fumbles. I mean, tell me where in there that the Steelers, and then throw in effect, it's home. It's in Philly. This isn't in Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium now. It's not even Heinz Field anymore. This game's at the Link. So there's just nothing there that's going to tell me that the Steelers are going to come out and shock the Eagles at home. I think we come out of the gates really, really strong coming out of the bye week. You want to take a look at the injury report. Okay. We can do that. I had it. Where the hell is it? There it is. Brandon Graham did not practice today. And then you have Bradbury, A.J. Brown, Fletcher Cox, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Isaac Seumalo, Darius Slay, and Josh Sweat were all limited practice, but only Lane and Seumalo were listed as any kind of injury with that. Lane with the concussion. Seumalo was ankle and rest. Everyone else that was limited practice today was strictly rest. And then Josh Joby was full practice with a shoulder thing. So, look, Graham not practicing, that sucks. I want him on the field, obviously. Lou Mancini, Lane is practicing. Yeah, and he was limited, is all I'm saying. That's what was listed, limited practice. So, as long as, I think he'll be fine. And you saw the difference against Dallas when Lane was on the field. Good God, Micah Parsons couldn't do a damn thing. And that's Micah Parsons. Kid's a special defensive player. He couldn't do a damn thing getting to Jalen as long as Lane was on the field. Now, once Lane had to come out, that created a problem. So we really, really want to, obviously, you always want to stay healthy, in particular at key positions, but, you saw that huge difference there when he wasn't on the field. Look, guys, if anybody's worried about Pittsburgh, and I'm not telling, look, any given Sunday, right? But I just don't see a whole lot of opportunity for the Steelers to do anything. Our defense is significantly better than their offense is. Our offense is significantly better than their defense. Again, every single week I keep saying the same thing, and I'm going to keep saying it. We are the more talented team. I expect to win that football game, especially at home. So the next few weeks are going to get a little rough, right? So we play Sunday, and then it's a quick turnaround to Thursday night in Houston. Thankfully, after that, we don't play again until the Monday night the following week. That'll be against the Commodes. And then after that, it is on to Indianapolis, where we will be. Keenan, what do you got here, bud? Keenan Harmon. We're kicking their ass, and Pam and I are sitting next to Q. Going to be great. Awesome, bud. That's great. I hope the weather kind of holds out for you. I don't want it to be too shitty. That can turn to a miserable time. But, you guys are going to have a blast either way. So, guys, girls, kids, I don't know how many children are left listening after that freaking rant. Actually, I don't know how many people at all were left listening after that rant, but that had to happen. So, I don't think I had anything else for you tonight. Oh, I did see what Greg Ward is back with the got signed back to the practice squad. So, a little bit of depth there at the wide receiver spot from a guy we know, love, and trust. Great hands. So we'll see what happens there. Lou Mancini picking Quez. Lou Mancini with the call out here says Quez Watkins going to have a monster game against the Steelers. Bank on it. All right. I mean, I'd like to know who the hell they're going to use to cover just even Brown and Smith. But if you think they can take care of that, that's going to leave Quez likely one-on-one against a very weak nickel corner. And yeah, that could be big trouble. So, guys, thank you for being a part of it this week. As always, I really appreciate you being here. I had to get that rant off my chest, but I wanted to start the show with the Phillies. I wanted to close the show with the Eagles. We'll get the rant done in the middle. This way I hopefully didn't lose too many of you there. I teased the show and then come laugh at me. So I hope I was at least entertaining with that. I probably deserved the laughter. Yeah, look, Yankees got to fix their shit. Phillies need to go handle their shit. I am on your side 1,000%. I will have everything short of Phillies gear ready to go for Friday night. I'll probably bring the cooler into the house, load it up with some beers, and be ready to sit back and watch Wheeler versus Verlander showdown. So, without further ado, I love you guys. I thank you for being here. Again, like I said at the top of the show, Back Porch Saloon, Westchester, Ohio, every Eagles game day. Come on in, wear your stuff, come in the door. They'll send you straight to Mike and Unhappy Gilmore. We have our own little section in the back that we want to grow and kick out the Bengal fans eventually. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take you coming on in, showing up, helping out. So when you see those posts, go ahead and share it. Share it public. Share it in groups. Share it everywhere, because you never know who's watching, who's listening, who could help. All right. Keenan, you the man, Gilmore. Thanks, bud. I appreciate that. Excuse me. Great job, Fito. Great job as always. And rooting for the Phillies too. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you everyone, I think pretty much every Yankees fan is rooting for the Phillies. So you've inherited a pretty wide swath of fans, at least for the World Series. I've got additional rooting interests in that. I want it for all of you too. But anyways, I procrastinated long enough. This has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio, part of the Green Legion Radio family. We will come to you live from the Back Porch Saloon, Westchester, 9626 Princeton Glendale Road, Westchester, Ohio, next Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Special guest, General Manager of the Back Porch Saloon, Michael Solon, my brother from another. Until then, y'all, enjoy your week. Enjoy the start of the World Series. And as always, go Birds. All right, kids, guys, girls, kids, take care. Enjoy your weekend.